Hello everyone, this is Jeff Hastings. Today we're going to walk through one of the additional applications on the Performance Bridge platform, and that application is Checklist. As a quick refresher, the Performance Bridge platform comes with two applications that are more of your traditional analytics type of applications, and those are quality and productivity. Both reference the same information in the database. It's just a different way of viewing the information. Quality is more of a data visualization dashboard type of view, whereas productivity is more of a report spreadsheet-based view. But both are referencing the same information and go hand in hand. With Checklist is very similar to one of the other applications that we've talked about of report search, but with Checklist, there's a little bit more automation built in. And in order to kind of tie the two together, I'm going to start with a quick refresher on report search, and then from there I'll go into Checklist. So with report search, it has the ability to do a free text Google type search of the report database. And these are the radiologist reports that we're receiving, so the HL7 reports. So you type in your search terms here. Is this for clinical care where the patient information is displayed, or is this more education, research, etc.? Within report search, you can save those searches. So if this is something that you're going to be doing regularly, you could save that as a search, log in, select it, and automatically run this each time you log in. However, that's a manual process. So what we did with Checklist is automate some of that activity. So with Checklist, you set up the query that you, or the type of dashboard that you want to have the reports apply against. So you set up those criteria somewhat similar to report search, but with Checklist, that's constantly running in the background. So every new radiology report that we receive would be compared to the different rules that are set up for each one of these work lists to determine if there's a match. If there is a match, then it would be added to that work list, and you can think of that as kind of like an index. So multiple people could be working off of that same list, doing different activities, and as they close an item out, the number would decrease. As a new report came in and matched the criteria, the number would go up. So think of this as a dynamic work list that multiple people are selecting. A common question also that comes up is, does this also apply to cardiology reports? And not today. The reason is because of the difference in a radiology report versus a cardiology report. The information in the radiology report, the text is just a text blob, so free text information, whereas in the cardiology report, it's more of a structured report where specific information, measurements, keywords, etc., are put in specific areas. So it doesn't apply today for cardiology, but that's something that would apply in a future roadmap type activity or functionality. So in this example, I'm going to go ahead and just go into one of them just to show you the kind of the workflow as far as populating the work list, assigning it to people, etc. So in this example, we've set this up as a brain aneurysm study enrollment. So this might be a research type program where they're looking for certain criteria, and if the patients meet a certain criteria, then they might be contacted to participate in that research study. So we've created our filter. If it says brain aneurysm, then we want to add them to this report. And I'm going to select this patient just to have it a little bit cleaned up as far as what's on the screen. With this patient, here's all of the patient information. Here's the report itself, the radiologist report that we received, and you can see the brain aneurysm is highlighted here. So that's why we recognized this report as being applicable to this specific work list. Over here on the work list, I can have select different status. Is it open? Is it completed, etc. In this specific example, since this is for a study enrollment, I can look at it, verify that yes, this is a good candidate for this study, perhaps based on age, etc. And then I can assign it to James Steele in this example for them to follow up with the patient and contact them on enrolling in the study. In terms of the work list itself, I'll show you how you would build that. And I'm just going to edit this one instead of starting from scratch. But it's fairly easy, pretty straightforward. So 4 steps. The first one is just give it a title, a description, what is it? You can have this as either a public or private work list. So a private work list would be just for me, something that I'm working off of. A public work list would be available for everyone. The next step is what are the criteria? Here's the terms that I'm looking for in the report, a date range. If I don't specify an ending date, then every new report that comes in would be compared to these rules that I've set up. You can create workflow in terms of what happens during the process once you start with verified, essentially a decision tree that you can create for the workflow, and then any final custom actions, instructions, etc. Okay, so fairly straightforward and easy. I'm going to go back to the work list screen and just provide a couple of more examples, a few more examples on how this might be utilized. If a facility does not have a critical findings type of notification process in place through PACS or their EMR or something else, then this could be used to identify critical findings and actually track and log the follow-up. When was the patient contacted, or the referring physician, who did the work, etc. Some facilities might also use this to track ED discrepancies. If the ER wet read did not match what the radiologist, what their viewpoint on it was, you might want to have some workflow related to ED discrepancy. Same thing for BI-RADS tracking if that was not something that you had through your mammography program, etc. So a lot of flexibility in the way that this tool can be used, but kind of the key thing to remember on this is just the difference between checklist and report search. Both are looking at the report wording in the radiologist report. Report search is more of a manual. I go in, I run the query, then I log out type of an activity, whereas checklist is rules that are created, work lists that are created to automatically scan every report as it comes in and then apply it to the appropriate dashboard if applicable, and then have a way for multiple people to be working off of that same common dashboard. So thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please reach out to your local Philips representative. Thanks.